Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for taking your time today to come to this webinar and learn about Sodexo and how Sodexo can partner with suppliers like yourself. So this is basically how to do business with Sodexo. We went over the agenda, so I'll just skip over this slide here. And I'm going to go into Sodexo's company overview, which a lot of you might not have known who or what Sodexo is. I get that a lot, and that is perfectly okay. Sodexo is usually a company that is in back of the house, but we are quite large. We are in 80 countries, and our revenue is about $18 billion, billion euros, and we serve about 75 million consumers every day. So that's quite large. We're the 19th largest employer worldwide. We have 420 employees. And one thing I really wanted to centralize is that our goal and our focus is to be world leaders in quality of life services. I know that is a mouthful and it's really broad, but that's exactly what our focus is. In this slide, I'll explain what does quality of life mean. Quality of life can be a lot of things, and it can mean different things depending on where we're located. For example, we service here in Canada a education segment or location where there are international students. So quality of life might mean bringing into the menu their ethnic or cultural foods once a week or once a month, depending on the need there. That could mean quality of life. So it's anything that will enhance their life day in, day out. And that's something we centralize not only for our customers, but our people as Sodexo's employees, our clients, our vendors. We work closely with all the people that form what Sodexo does. And please feel free to ask any questions if something is not clear. So one of the biggest things that I thought would be good to know is our supply chain. Our supply chain is made up of various aspects, but the three ones that would kind of engage with a potential supplier like yourself would be, one is the category manager. Category manager would review and work with a national supplier or a North American supplier as well, while a regional purchasing manager will work at a local level, whether it be just a location or, for example, hospital needs a certain food or a certain device or equipment, but just that hospital itself. So a regional purchasing manager would get involved and get that contract going with that potential supplier so we can fulfill that need. And me, I work with all the above. I will work with the regional purchasing manager to bring that need and bring that connection with the potential supplier with the purchasing manager as well as the category manager, and bring it to fulfill that need that we are certainly looking for. So these are the two main people that you would probably work with if we go into a further conversation, and I try to connect you guys both. So some of the products and services that are being mandated, since we are not just a food service, we are also non-food as well as facility management. I thought it would be a good eye-opener just to see that we deal with a whole lot. We have over 100 services that we complete throughout our locations. It could be from from food, specialty foods, non-specialty foods, your regular catering, your cafeteria. So these are kind of just an overview of different unique areas that you could probably, if you fit in, these are the truth. There's a lot more, and I'm pretty sure one webinar will not be complete time for all the different areas that we source, but here's just a couple of few I thought I would mention. You know, we do a lot of services where we need to outsource, let's say building and construction, you know, consulting, waste removal, staffing. On non-food, it could be safety items. One of our big goals in Sodexo is being safe, so we would ensure that our employees are safe, our customers are safe, and everybody around us that is safe, so safety items as well as anything to do with bringing a meal to our consumers. So whether it's spices, special dietary items, so gluten-free, peanut-free, you know, there's actually vegan options as well. So just to bring you in light of this information. This is another important aspect of Sodexo is our procurement process. So we usually deal with a contract-based agreement, and that contract base can have a length of 3 years. Once the 3 years are completed, we will review the contract and do an extension or an amendment for another a year to 2 years, depending on the category and depending on the nature of that category. But typically it is a 3-year. We also review the whole category, and after a 5-year length of the contract or the category itself, we do at times review if there is a need for an RFP. The RFP is opened to all the current approved suppliers that we have, as well as new ones. And one of the mandates within Sodexo is to have at least one diverse supplier within that category that is going to an RFP, and that is usually brought up to my attention for me to provide that potential if not known. So this is very important for you to register your company within our diverse portal, because this is one of the areas, that I use, as well as my category managers, as well as my regional managers, to review when there is needs in these areas, as in an RFP or a one-time need, or in a need that has just come up. At times we do have needs that come up within our location, whether it be client-based request or customer large need. There's different areas that we also look into bringing in contracts within Sodexo. So another area which I thought would be interesting for everybody to hear on the phone to listen is how do we negotiate or work into the process of an RFP, which is similar to a contract-based as well. So first we review the category that is currently in need of, maybe it's been 5 years since we have not reviewed that category, to review it extensively to see what's the market look like, what is the need within Sodexo, what is the need of the client, what is the need of the customer, and the locations where we're currently having that category within Sodexo. So through all that investigation and profiling, as we develop a category of how we're going to source that and develop that category if we go into an RFP. So what are the main products being used, the product mix. It's quite extensive what goes into that stage there. In an RFP stage, it can be anywhere from the time we actually speak to you to the time it goes into RFP, the length of the RFP, and then the final outcome could be anywhere between a couple of months, let's say 3 to 6 months, to about a year. And then we go into the negotiation, which could take some time as well. And negotiation could be anywhere from price, quantity, volume, distribution channel if it is food related. Once the business is awarded to the final supplier or suppliers, it goes into a legal contract stage where we make it formally. This can also take a length of time anywhere between 3 months to a year as well. So right now, if we would take the maximum, we're up to 2 years right now. And then it's executed. Execution, I believe, it's once the contract is signed and sealed and delivered, as you can say it, the execution is quite simple, and usually it's within weeks. We have our distribution that handles all the logistics and communication to our location to let them know we have now this new service in place, where they can contact to get this service implemented at their location, what are the steps they need to sign up an account if an account is needed, and how they can start using this service if it's a service, or start ordering this food if it's a food-related item. And then we continue the contract until the contract is due for another review. So our supplier diversity program is 51% owned and controlled, Canadian and U.S. Us being a global company, we do accept our U.S. NMSDC as well as WeBank within Canada, and all of these are third-party certification. So we have the women Weebies, we have KMC, which is the minority and indigenous. We have CGLCC, which is the gay and lesbian, so LGBT community. We have CCAB, which is the Aboriginal. We have a segment that is energy and resource, which deals a lot with the camps and the oil rigs, oceans, where there's a lot of our communities, which is Aboriginal. So there's a lot of partnership with them, and as well as I mentioned, the NMSDC as well as WeBank. Our Supply Diversity was formed way back in, I believe it was 2009, and it was heavily with our Aboriginal communities. But in 2014 or around that time is when we aligned with WeConnect and started working with the women as well as CAMC minority as well, and the other ones came along afterwards. So definitely it's something that we have within our yearly review. The category managers are highly encouraged to advance, grow. Also, we look at it at a quarterly basis with our managers to ensure that there is growth happening. If a supplier within our approved contract status is dropping, we try to investigate to ensure what's the cause. So there's a lot of work that that I do along with the the category managers to ensure that not only do we align with diverse suppliers, but we also seek growth. We want to seek growth because there's a purpose why we're doing this. We're not just doing it to bring our numbers that we have 20 suppliers or 30 suppliers and now we have 40 suppliers. No, we want to seek growth because in the growth is that's where we see there is growth for our community, growth for our employees, growth for Canada. If we're dealing just with Canada, there is a lot of results where we know that there is, and unless we work with it, we need to ensure that there is path moving forward and not just being there stagnant. So definitely Supplier Diversity Program is very as I said it before, it's in our DNA. We have support from our headquarters in Paris, to our president here in Canada, and to my VP of Supply Management. So there is a lot of support that we have within Sodexo, which makes it really good, and it makes a partnership. So we're not trying to just say it, we're trying to do it. So what makes a good fit supplier? I was at a conference a couple weeks ago, and an example that came to my mind is we have an office supply supplier. We have lots of suppliers available. What we're looking for is innovation. What we're looking for, what is different. What we're looking for is how does that set you apart? Because definitely that is one of the aspects where we're looking for innovation. We want something new. We want that new to be sustainable. There's a lot of initiative that Sodexo is doing within the sustainable round. We want, our goal is for our environment, to make this environment well, not only our people, but also the environment. So anything that we can participate in to bring down low carbon. Some of our suppliers, what they're doing is they're cutting down their delivery time. So they'll only deliver certain time frames, which is cutting down on the carbon footprint. Some of our suppliers are changing their packaging from regular packaging to biodegradable packaging or recyclable packaging. So there's a lot of things that can be done that helps us be sustainable. And if we're sustainable, Canada's sustainable, our world's sustainable, and that's very important to us because we're here for the long run. We don't have another planet to go to, so we want to take care of the planet that we are in. I know there is talk about Mars and going to Mars, but we're going to worry about Earth right now, and we want to ensure that we are doing our part as a global company. You saw the beginning slide, we touch 75 million consumers a day in some shape, way, or form. So if we have that ability to touch, we also have the ability to make a difference in a sustainable world. So that's another aspect. Another good fit makes each of your suppliers is regional. We do have regional needs. We do look at that aspect and do contract suppliers that have a regional aspects, whether it be, like I mentioned before, a site where you might just deal with that site because there is a need in that site. We might just deal in a certain region, let's say the GTA region, because the GTA region is where that need can be, whether it's food, service, non-food, there might be a need there. But we also look at national as well. We are in Canada. I oversee all of Canada. So national is an aspect what we also look at. So there could be a service or a food or non-food in which we can use and distribute through our locations within Canada. So that's another aspect where we look. And we also look at North America too. We have recently aligned with our U.S. office a lot closer than we have in previous years, and we now look at North American contracts. So these are three areas in which you might not fit all, but you might fit one. Definitely this can be an opportunity. And definitely, if you look at Sodexo's website and you still don't understand where you can fit, there's areas where we look at. We're in education, we're in healthcare, we're in corporate. And corporate, as in any corporate and the needs that they can have. We're a very large company and we do a lot. We do, and sometimes it's kind of hard to say we do everything and make that understandable to the supplier, but it is basically what we do. We try to do anything that is not your core business. Whatever your core business is, we stay away from that because you are the expert of that area. What we come to do is we come to do what runs your business, what you need to run your business, but not necessarily is your expertise. So we can come in and do hiring, we can come and do your cafeteria, your fine dining, you know, your maintenance, whether it be landscaping or building. In some places we do security. In some other places we are the accounting people. So there's a lot that we do, and it's very extent to where we fit. But definitely we're out there. So this is why I like to speak to one-on-one and sometimes with the diverse suppliers, because I get a feel for what you do and where it can fit within Sodexo. So I love to have one-on-ones with suppliers, because sometimes the websites don't really give the gist of what you do, and sometimes the uniqueness that we're looking for is not actually there. But when a one-on-one conversation happens, I can fit all the puzzles together. And this is my thank you to each of you, and hopefully if you don't have questions now, please, and you have something later that comes up, give me a call, send me an email. I'm here to work with you. I'm here to partner with you as well as Sodexo and bring that collaboration so we can both succeed. This is what I have prepared for you today. I hope it has been useful for you. Definitely, like I said, I'm available for you online, offline, whatever your timing is.
Wonderful.
So thank you.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I know that was really useful for all of us. We have some time for questions, so if you have a question for Elizabeth now that you'd like her to address, please just drop it into either the chat function or the Q&A function, and I will read those over to Elizabeth. We did have one come in earlier, so I'll start with that one, Elizabeth, and then we can see if anyone else has questions.
Okay.
It was when you were talking about the innovation being like something that Sodexo is looking for, and the question was, are there any supplier diversity goals for 2018 that we can keep in mind in addition to just general innovation?
There is, but if they can give me a sense of what do they do, I could probably gear that answer towards like what services do they provide, or what's their core business.
Okay. Food services.
Okay, so we have, we're looking into one, reducing waste, food waste. We are also seeing how we can reduce carbon footprint. So there's a lot of things that we're trying to do within the round of innovation. So if there's anything that will fit within the food that you're doing that is sustainable, definitely let us know. Have a conversation with me, and I will see how that can fit.
Great. Sustainability. Any other questions that people have right now? Okay. Nothing's coming through the chat right now, but you know, if things come up as you go throughout your day, or if you have questions later in the week, you can always feel free to either reach out to me and I'll pass those on to Elizabeth, or her contact information is up here right now. And Elizabeth, thank you again for your time and for offering to you know, take the time to have individual conversations with our members. That's really important and impactful. So thank you.
Yes, definitely, and I encourage, if you are interested in partnering with Sodexo, please register. I didn't put the, I forgot to put in the link where you can register. If you have not already, email me and I will let you know the register link where you can register, as well as we can have a quick chat to see where you can fit within Sodexo.
Great, and I think that we'll send out this recording to all the registrants after, so I can also share that link in. And actually, one question did come through. How can suppliers recruit efficiently for Sodexo? So
one of the things to line up with Sodexo is, first, I'm the first stop. So please, like I mentioned, I like to speak with each of the suppliers, because definitely I find that way more informative than just signing up with your information on our portal. The portal is great, but I also review it when an RFP comes up, because I already know, okay, we have this, what's in the portal. I review it constantly, and I always try to get people to register, one, because it's open not only to myself, but it's also open to the category managers. It's open to the regional managers. But when they start to look at this, they come and ask me questions. So let's say company ABC has registered. What do they have? Are they local? Can they supply national? I give them a little bit more information that is there, and sometimes too I also encourage what to put in there, like key responses that definitely can help minimize the search. Because definitely there's things that we look for, and sometimes there's not always that opportunity to go on the website, like your website, or reach out further. So they come to me and say, ask me questions about that supplier. And since I've already spoken to you, and I keep a book of all what we spoke about, I can relay that message and definitely make it useful for them to say, okay, yes, that's the candidate we're looking for. One other thing that we also do is, if you are food-based, we are highly into safety. So one of the requirements for food is third-party audits. It's a must for any supplier, whether you're diverse or not diverse. In the food aspect, it is a requirement. We need those. As I said and showed you, we serve 75 million consumers a day, and if that is 75 million food components, meals, we want to ensure we're giving them not only a good plate of food, but we're giving them the best, and ensure that. So this is why we are definitely high on safety. So third-party audits are a must in the food realm. And in the non-food, if you're doing a service, we also take safety as well. So ensure all the safety, WSIB, all regulations are put into place, because safety is a priority for us, for our consumers, for our employees, for anybody that we touch and reach on a day-to-day basis.
Great, thank you for that. So yeah, definitely, look to Elizabeth to be your resource and your guide. She's available to you to answer any of their questions. And we'll wrap up here. Elizabeth, thank you.
Well, thank you, everybody.